Today we're going to see how a couple is repurposing an old hog farm into a beautiful flower farm. Let's meet Rick and Sandy. We're here with Rick and Sandy and Lily at Granville Lane Farms here outside of Charlotte. And Rick has done a wonderful job building with Maker Pipe. He built a big cold frame that you'll see today at their flower farm that they're renovating a hog farm into. We unfortunately got rained out. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You guys are renovating this hog farm that's been in your family for a long time, right?
Yeah, the farm, my grandfather, my mom's grandfather, he's been farming here. He started back probably in the 30s, 40s, and then back in the 70s, my father, Lane, Granville is my grandfather, Lane is my dad, and my dad, he's the one that started building the hog houses. He grew up on a dairy farm, and farming's been in his blood and in his life. We've been here about 3 years. Is that right, Sandy? 3 years, and just kind of we always take the path of least resistance. We enjoy flowers. My mom, she always enjoyed growing flowers, so we just kind of picked up where she left off and doing it on a larger scale.
I mean, that must really feel good to be here in the family farm.
It does, and just, my thing, I like just being able to reuse it and do, kind of piggyback on what my dad did.
Right.
You know what he started, because to me there's a lot of value in concrete pads, pits, and stuff like
Sure.
that. This was the Farron house. This is the front door where you'd come in. The office was here, and then there was a big feed bin right here, and then this is where you'd start into the Farron house. There were like 12 stalls on that side and 12 on this side, and this is a walkway, and it it had concrete over the top of it. It was an air tunnel, because with all the manure underneath, a lot of methane gas and stuff, so you got to get rid of it. So there's a fan on the end, and it would pull air through this tunnel from the sides and it'd exit out the back of the building. So anyway, I think 1988 fire took it, along with 250 pigs.
Wow.
It smelled like a barbecue.
That must have been hard.
Oh yeah. And so after that, they just pushed dirt in. So when we got here, it was grass. All this had been filled in with dirt and debris and everything. So,
and you guys
I
dug it out.
So we dug it back out.
Wow.
Like a archaeological dig.
I bet.
So we dug it all back out, and I said, "Oh, what can we do here?"
Well, it's a beautiful property.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the charm of the farm is still there for sure, and it looks great. Where do you guys now? You're growing flowers this season. It's your first major season, right?
Yes, it is. We've put in about 1,000 dahlias and several thousand snapdragons and zinnias. Our hopes is to go to the local farmers market to start with, and we've got an old 1967 Dodge D200 truck we've purchased, and that's going to be the flower truck, and its name is Janie Joe. Janie was my grandmother, and Joe is short for Joyce, which is my mom. So we're trying to keep everything a little connected with family and give it a little extra meaning. Here's Janie Joe, the flower truck.
Janie Joe.
Ready to be put into service.
Wow,
that's some vinyl. I think that's some vinyl letter in there.
But the patina,
oh yeah.
It's gone from the yellow to orange and then white at some part.
I think the orange is probably the original, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But we like the paint job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody likes the paint job. So we'll take that on the road to different events, and probably set up some at the farmers market, and just wherever we can move the flowers.
Right.
And it is our first year, so we're thank you, Lily. We don't have any lilies growing, not yet, just dahlias and snapdragons. but we are. It's our first year, and it's a learning experience from us.
Right. So you guys will be out in the Charlotte area. You guys are close to Charlotte.
Yeah, we're close to Charlotte, but we're going to stick pretty local.
Yeah.
Just we're going to be in Albemarle at the local farmers market, and then we're toying around with some different, coming to the farm, kind of pick your own, build your own bouquet. It is such a pretty place,
Yeah.
and I think in the afternoons it's just a really pretty place to come visit and sit around and just relax and have a glass of wine, just
Right.
and take in the nature and take in the sunset and make your own bouquet, and then
Is it going to be cut flowers?
yeah, it's cut flower. Everything
bouquets.
and I think we will get out to the garden and we'll see what we've got growing so far. Now these are the dahlias, these first 3 rows. And that's what I was talking about. You come through, and we had got about 10 bales of straw. They were the giant bales. They're like 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah.
And we set them over, just let them rot, more or less. And then we spread all that out here and tilled it in, just trying to get some good organic matter. And so till all that in, and then you lay the plastic, you burn the holes in them. And now the dahlias, they'll start blooming in probably the second, third week of June, and they will go till frost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're that's the ones you count on.
Right.
You can count on these guys. Now other annuals or perennials, most time it's a 4-week window, 6-week window, something like that. I mean, and then you can succession plant like zinnias. You can start new ones like every 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
They'll bloom throughout the season, but if you start them every 3 or 4 weeks, they're just stronger,
Yeah.
more robust, and you can get a little more out of them.
This is amazing. This is really a lot of work went into this, huh?
Yeah, a lot of work.
It's looking good. You guys are learning this process this year, right? I mean, you've had some experience, obviously.
Yeah, for the most part. I've always enjoyed growing stuff and doing projects myself. But yeah, we started last year with a few and said, oh, we can do this. And then you buy all the books, you watch all the videos, and think you're an expert, but until you actually go through it, we had our first snapdragon blooming today, and I'm like, why is it so small? It's like, is this normal? So you come in, you start looking around, and like, oh, they're going to be growing for another 2 or 3 months, so they'll get larger. So, but it's just I guess your first year as parents, you don't know what to expect, but you can only go through and research but it'll all work out. All this was started, these were sown February, 2nd week of February. So they were raised there. These are snapdragons. We've got one snapdragon. We got to go see the snapdragon.
Yeah. They're looking good from at least.
We're very happy with what we've got going.
That's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
There it is. Yeah, our long little. So, but this week we've got to come out and drive our post in, and we got to put netting over it. It's just a 4x4 net spacing, and they'll pop up through it. So if you have a thunderstorm, it keeps them from laying over. So that's
trellis net to support the plants.
Yeah. Put the trellis net on there.
Well, congratulations on your first baby snapdragon.
Exactly. Yeah, we both have full-time jobs, so it's a lot of weekend work, afternoon work. So that takes some of the pressure off of it. It doesn't have to succeed. We very much want it to, and it will. But it's just getting it all together. There's a lot of infrastructure to put in the first year.
Right.
And so there's just a lot going on the first year.
So you mentioned you have put in a lot of infrastructure in the farm. Yeah. What have been the big projects?
We're building like the greenhouse for where we're germinating the seeds at. It's a mess in here right now, but we had it full in January. Went and got a bunch of barrels. Found that on Facebook, whatever, they're all full of water. These tanks are full of water. So once you get it up to temperature, maybe 70, 80 degrees, there's not a big fluctuation in the temperature swing. Very easy to heat. We did put a little gas heater in.
Oh, so the water in the barrels is like a heat battery.
Yeah, it's south is this way, of course.
Right.
And the sun comes in, heats up, and yeah, it's just that big energy battery.
Wow.
And once everything is up to temperature, there's not a big swing in temperature.
Right. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. And then we insulated the north side. Right now it's just sun comes out, it'll get 130 in here.
Oh.
In just a matter of minutes.
Right.
But we had these concrete tanks. These tanks were used to flush some of the hog houses. You'd fill them up with water from a lagoon, and then you hit a valve, and all the 800 gallons would rush out and go down through the hog house and just kind of wash the whole floor clean. And they were just sitting around, so we used them.
Oh, neat.
Like I said, try to reuse everything.
Yeah.
Found these panels. They were roof panels. Guy had them for sale on the Facebook again.
Yeah.
For $3. They've got insulation, but the concrete, so it made a nice.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's just simple and easy to do.
Right.
If you check the price of lumber.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
instead of doing the lumber and everything, so we put those on, but there's still some tweaking. And then we've got a couple big lights that we'll use, because in the wintertime, you've got, when you start seeds, it's only 8 hours of daylight.
Right.
And they'll start getting really leggy. So you have to crank those up for a couple hours each day just to add a little supplement light to them.
Great. Yeah, and I see a few connectors in here to hold the insulation up.
Yeah, we did that just to hold the, again, it was fast and easy, and it works. That was built, we had a concrete pad that was there at the hog house.
Right.
So we just put up a part of a hoop house kit, and had to insulate one side, and then we brought in water barrels. It's passive solar, so we brought in water barrels and some other tanks. I think you saw that earlier.
Yeah.
Just to, if the sun's shining, it's nice and cozy in there, and it just maintains the temperature a lot better than trying to regulate it with natural gas or another type of outside source of heat. So we've done that. We've built the cold frame, of course, with the wonderful maker pipe connectors.
And I saw something really cool on your Instagram. It was a contraption where you were able to just drop a seedling in.
Oh yeah,
and go right into the ground.
Yeah, we.
Tell me about that, because that was really interesting.
I think the first week, or the first time we were setting our transplants out, we had some sunflowers, and we set those out in the in one of the old hog house pits that we've got. And so me and Sandy's out there on a Saturday afternoon on our hands and knees and like a little spade. And I'm like, this is not going to work.
There's got to be an easier way.
This is not going to work. So you come back to the trusty internet, or not the trusty internet, but anyway, you start researching and looking and thinking about, there's got to be something else out there. And I found a little transplanter, and it's in the garden now, but the soil has to be pretty soft. But anyway, it just goes in. It's got 3 little panels on the bottom. You just jab it down in the soil, and it opens up. You drop the plant down the chute and close it up, and it's like we're all like, ah,
Amazing,
yeah. And we're like, this is doable. And we planted. It was me and Sandy and Georgia Lane and Luann. The first time I think we did almost 2,000 plants.
Yeah.
And that was working the bed, putting the fabric down, and putting the seeds in. Putting the seedlings in. And it was just as fast as you could go.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So just when you find stuff like that, it's like, and we both said, we can do this.
Right.
The hands and knees, we can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this. But with that, but you got to have the right conditions. And so we had a bed that had been tilled up several weeks, and
it was still soft.
It wouldn't soft, and so we had a drill bit. I said, you just have to till it, cover it, and then drop them in.
Oh, okay, right after.
But yeah, you just find stuff like that will help. I'm sure in your business you find different little shortcuts. And,
sure. Yeah, through the experience.
Yeah.
Experience is the best teacher for sure.
Yes, definitely.
I hope the maker pipe saved you some time.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not a carpenter by any means, but I can put stuff together, and I was like a kid when I got them, and I was just like, oh, this is so great, this is it. I was all excited trying to show Sandy, look at this, look what we can do, and but yeah, it's just you go and get the local pipe at the Lowe's or whatever hardware, it's very readily available.
Yeah.
And with a few little tools, you can make whatever. I mean, just your imagination's the limit,
Yeah.
So I've got multiple projects around here. I hope you brought a van load of connectors for me. But yeah, I've got multiple. I'll look at something. How can I do that with a maker pipe? Because my brother's an excellent carpenter, and but if you priced a 2x4, a stick of EMT is way cheaper than a 2x4 at this point.
I know it's pretty amazing,
Yeah.
huh?
And it's galvanized. And I like to, a lot of my projects I like to redo or
Sure.
or version 3.0 improve on it. So it's just something you can easily take it right back apart and redo it or add to it. So
Well, good.
Yeah,
I'm
but
glad you found it useful. And
it's very useful.
the cold frame is impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's so big, right? You said it was
About 64 foot long,
64 feet
and
long.
8 foot wide. Well, here you can see we've got the the maker pipe,
Yep, the T
the
connector
little
there.
T connector. And then we just
And I notice you've used the plastic clamps to keep the tarp on.
those are really good.
Oh, and some wiggle wire. You've
Wiggle wire, yeah.
I've been introduced to the wiggle wire.
Yeah, the wiggle wire. Yeah, I was impressed when you had the contest. You were making note of the wiggle wire.
Yeah.
But we'll put this down for now, and then I can show you how it goes up and down.
I love the rigging. That is cool.
Rigging. Yeah, rigging is the key word. And then the rebar. I had the rebar here. I said, well, how can I get these to prop up? And it was just a matter of finding something, do a little bend and just, took a few tries and
Sure.
we had it.
And this, I mean, it's large. What did you say it was in length?
I think it's right at 64, 65 foot
Nice.
and
That's
8
awesome.
foot wide.
Yeah.
So we'll put it down, and then to raise it up, this is just winch would come off like the grain auger. There's
Right.
another one sitting over there in the woods, and you just raise it all up at one time.
Yeah, and the whole thing is coming
Yeah,
up.
the whole thing comes out, and then then you just let it back down, and
Oh, that's great.
yeah. So, and we're going to put this is going to be like a real greenhouse, this section right here,
Right.
and for tomatoes, stuff we can try to overwinter
Yeah.
that you can keep. A tomato will live 3 or 4 years.
Right.
One plant, you just keep it alive. So
Yeah.
that's what that's going to be.
But I love the ventilation system that you had there. You had posts running all the way down, right, with a
Right.
pulley system and,
Yeah.
and wires and everything going on to lift and lower the cold frame.
And all that comes from, like it used to be a hog house there, and on the back side we had a curtain, and I can remember how that whole curtain worked. We had to crank
Uh-huh.
and had the cable running down, and it would raise it up, and I remember that from when working back on the hog farm. I said, well, I can do that with the same way, so I just the same principle and ran the cables and
Wow.
found a winch off that an old auger and put it in, and
Really?
yeah. Again, I look like a little kid out there with Sandy, get the video camera, watch it.
Because I thought it was
Yeah.
such a unique
Yeah.
way to solve that problem. And it turns out it's from the hog
Oh
farm.
yeah, exactly.
When you were a
yeah.
kid. That's so cool.
Yeah, and always looking for a good, easy, because eventually it could be automated. I mean, it could be on a temperature switch, and
Sure.
it could turn, just for 10, 15 seconds to vent it automatically, but
Right.
probably don't need to go that far with it,
Well,
But-
maybe when you've got 5 of these things or 10
Oh,
of these
yeah,
things,
yeah.
when the flowers.
Yeah, there's zinnias in there now and sunflowers, and they survived the 20, I think we had 27-degree weather, so they survived that in the cold frame. But probably midsummer we'll just fill it up, not with flowers. It'd probably be kale, spinach, broccoli. It'd probably be something that we will just eat during the winter.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's a nice sized garden under cover.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that's a lot of space. So the walk me through the process, because I'm a little fuzzy on where the cold frame comes into play in the greenhouse. Do all the seeds start out in the cold frame, or do they germinate and then go into the
you
cold frame?
can start them in the cold frame, but I think it's better just to transplant.
Yeah.
Because you've got more control in the greenhouse,
Mhm.
and you put them on a heat mat or whatever, and you can get them up, 2 or 3 inches, and just transplant them out. I just think it's easier. We started some of the sunflowers straight in the cold frame, but there was a mouse that liked sunflowers better than we did, and ate most of them. So
Oh.
yeah, but you always got nature to deal with.
That's right.
So that's why I think since we found the handy little transplanter,
Uh-huh.
I said we'll just start our transplants
Yeah.
and just transplant them.
Well, that's great. So they went from the greenhouse. You germinated them in the greenhouse,
Correct.
and then transplant them.
Then transplant them to the cold frame,
Oh, okay.
and then from there they will stay until they're harvested.
Great. So what's the gardens that you have this year? What kind of flowers? You got sunflowers, you mentioned.
We've got sunflowers, snapdragons, zinnias, dahlias, several I can't pronounce. We've got black-eyed Susans, and a lot of the ones we have are for the beginner flower farmer. They said these are
Yeah.
the ones you can't mess up, so we went with those. Then there's a lot of other items. We've got eucalyptus. You got to have for a bouquet. You've got to have a lot of greenery.
Sure.
Filler flowers. There's like Queen Anne's lace,
Oh yeah.
yarrow, a lot of fillers. But the dahlias and the zinnias and probably snapdragons will be the primary flowers that we have this year.
Well, great. Well, I hope it's a great season for you guys. That you're.
Well, we're getting a good rain today.
Yeah, we're getting a good rain today, so that
was-
helps.
yeah.
And I hope that everything goes well this season and the cold frame works out for you.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And it's really exciting to see, how the plans that you guys have and
Mhm.
the farm and the state it's in. And I've been following along on Instagram, so I encourage anybody to go to your Instagram and your Facebook, right,
Right.
and check out the farm and your progress along the way.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a fun ride. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a beautiful place. I mean, it's like I said, my mom grew up here, and it's just family farm, and we're out here in 30 miles from Charlotte, Stanley County, and it's just a nice, quiet place for the most part. And
Yeah. It's beautiful country
Yeah.
driving in.
it is.
Yeah. And, thanks for taking the time today
Oh,
to have
my
us out
pleasure.
here and show us your build and the whole farm. It's really cool to hear about
Yeah.
your guys' process. And if there's anything we can do for you in the future, don't
Okay.
hesitate to ask.
Well, we look forward to working with you
All right.
and watching both businesses grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got an amazing product,
Well, thanks.
and so
Well, it's my favorite part is seeing creativity and uses like you showed with the cold frame.
mhm.
That's by far my
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
part of the business is seeing those. So thanks for that.
Oh yeah, very welcome.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.